How Marching Band Equips Students for Life. That's up next on this edition of the Inside Scoop. Hello and welcome back to the Inside Scoop. I'm David Owen. If you hear something helpful today, give us a like and subscribe. A new episode drops each Wednesday, hopefully containing insights to help your student reach their greatest level of success. Music programs in Cobb schools exist in many ways, be it vocally in chorus, playing stringed instruments in orchestra, or playing brass, woodwinds, or percussion in symphonic bands. Doing each of those things well is challenging enough, but imagine doing that while marching to very specific locations at the right time, sometimes even marching backwards. Here to give us more insights on the challenges and benefits that marching band programs offer your student is the Supervisor of Instrumental Music in Cobb Schools, Dr. Chris Ferrell. Chris, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thanks for inviting me. Happy to be here today.
Well, band occupies a special place in my heart, both good and bad. I was in band in high school. I know the podcast isn't about me, people, but I do bring that perspective. Tell me a little bit about your deep, dark past in the music world.
Well, this is year 32 for me in music education.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, long time. Grew up in Ohio, did music starting in 5th grade, where I came from. We actually started band in 5th grade. So I started on the clarinet. And eventually one of the few people who was ever maybe forced to switch to saxophone. It's usually the other way around.
Interesting.
I'm not sure how to feel about that, but switched and ended up playing all the way through high school, graduated, and went into music education. And I taught band in Texas for many years, and then moved to Cobb County in 2006. And I taught high school band here, and since 2013, I've been in this position. So,
cool.
A long, storied history of music education, but
a lot of experience
to draw on.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we've always heard that music program students tend to do well in school, but can we get a little more specific about that? What benefits does music in a student's life offer for the academic side?
Mm-hmm. Well, we obviously know that participating in any kind of the arts is a great thing just as far as developing as a human being. But, research for a long time and lots of history there has shown that, participating in a music program, whether it's chorus or band or orchestra or any music program, really activates multiple sides of the brain. So whether it's the kind of the cognitive part of learning to read a new language, which essentially that's what music notation is, combining that with the kinesthetic part of actually learning to play an instrument or using your voice, really activates a lot of different brain centers at once. So we call it simultaneous responsibility, but anytime you do that, it really does help when it comes to things like math and science and language centers and all of those things working together. So it really kind of stimulates the brain activity, I think, for a good part of their day that maybe they don't always see in every other subject area.
How does marching band help the student learn some of the values of teamwork? Tell us, some of the people, I know a lot of the viewers probably were in band in their school days, but a lot haven't gone through that program. So give us a little glimpse into what that overall picture looks like.
Well, I think participation in marching band for us, it's it is a co-curricular activity that happens after school for most of our high schools, and it really it's kind of what I would consider the ultimate team, because really we've got lots of individuals, could be anywhere from 50 to 400 students on the field who are really dependent and interdependent on each other. Their location on the field, performing their instrument, they've got to match, they've got to look alike, they've got to match their movements, they've got to match their sounds, all at the same time. So they really depend on each other, and there is no second string in marching band, right?
Wow.
So everybody,
are you throwing down a gauntlet
there? I am. So everybody is on the field all the time. And so, it really does help students, I think, depend on it, kind of develop those skills. There's also the leadership, students helping each other. That's the other great part. It's not just teacher directed.
When you say student leadership, obviously you have a student drum major, but saxophone section or clarinets.
Yes.
you would have a section leader, right?
Usually, yes.
Okay.
And so there's a leadership structure that it kind of exists within the programs, and they vary depending on what they have and numbers and kind of what they've decided works best for them. But that also includes color guard as well. So you've got the flags and rifles and those people as well. So, those people will help with instruction. They also help with the logistics. They really try to help those students develop and also be successful along with that small team of adults that we have as well.
Yeah. How to motivate and inform other students without offending. That's not an easy soft skill in life, right?
No, and that's I think one of the things that I think they benefit the most from is that right there. I think that's key, is that learning to lead. We don't call it necessarily leading from the middle, but learning to lead peers is a challenge. I mean,
Yes.
that happens whether you're an adult or a student. So just learning those skills, how to problem solve, how to cooperate, how to collaborate, all of those things are in constant motion every single time they rehearse.
Yeah. And if somebody messes up, it affects everybody.
Absolutely.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And so that's the other thing. I mean, 100% of the time, everybody's performing.
Yeah.
And so again, each person's dependent on the other to make sure that they're accountable, but they're also accomplishing.
Right. And encouraged
And
along the way.
encouraged.
That's such a balance. That really is. And I'm thinking of it from the marching, the physical moving your feet standpoint, but musically, I mean, somebody in the stands might not know one note from the next, but they know when it doesn't sound right.
That's true.
And all it takes is one good honk. I'm not picking on woodwinds here.
Right.
But it is something that requires so many levels of, truly, to some extent, expertise in what you're doing for it to come off well, right?
Right. They really have to have it all together at once. And it seems when you watch it, it seems like how do they figure that out so quickly?
Yeah.
But thousands and thousands and thousands of kids do it every single year all over the country. We have processes in place. And once they get out there and do it, they find out it's not nearly as hard as they thought it would be.
Parents might want to know, okay, that's all great, all well and good. But in the long run, is my kid going to go through this program? They don't expect to be a musician, certainly not a professional marching musician.
Right.
There aren't very many of those, I would think. How is this going to give my child, my student, a long-term, lifelong benefit just in terms of overall development?
Well, again, I think the vehicle of participating in music, period, but especially in marching band, it's a step to human development. A success. And so, we talked about that simultaneous responsibility. So their ability to process information quickly, their ability to make decisions. They're making hundreds of decisions a minute when they're out there, whether it's direction or volume or when to start a note or stop a note, body movement, all those things. So just being able to do that is incredible. It also, we live in a world where multitasking is a necessity. Often. And so that's the ultimate multitasking. They're literally doing two separate things that really shouldn't exist in the same space.
At least two
at the same time. And so I think that certainly helps when it comes to that multitasking. Just being able to focus. They've got a lot of times things have to be broken down to extremely small, focused pieces.
Yeah.
And being able to concentrate and really refine, I think, is also a skill that they develop because that's a necessity. Because we have to play it the same way. It has to look the same way. So a lot of that has to be broken down to the smallest granular event, and that takes a lot of focus.
When bands are forming their show, what is their goal? Do they all compete? Is that the premise of it, or what is the goal of doing marching band?
Right. Well, certainly competition is a component. Not every band competes. Obviously, Friday night football games are a big focus for us.
Right.
It gives the students an opportunity to kind of showcase what they've done with their hard work. But, some do compete, and there are all kinds of different levels. We have local competitions, there are state level competitions, there's a national circuit as well. So depending on that, even the year and the community that they live in and kind of what they've decided to do as a program, that's going to be what they focus on. So maybe it is a competition. Maybe it's a string of competitions. Maybe it's just football games. But it really can depend on the community and where they want to focus year to year. Sometimes bands will do many competitions one year and not as many the next year. The focus, I think, for every one of our programs is to help students develop as great human beings and being able to really function at their highest level, and then marching band's kind of that vehicle for that. And if they go compete and they do really well, that's a great bonus.
Yeah, it looks good on the resume too.
Sure,
right?
Absolutely.
Let's say a parent is parent of an elementary school child, and they think, oh, this really sounds like something my child needs to be involved in, but I haven't really thought about pushing for that. How can they motivate their student to be interested in marching band or music in general, I guess, but marching band as perhaps the penultimate development activity for students?
Sure. Well, obviously visibility is, showing people, showing children is the number one best way. And, we have a lot of events. Obviously, we mentioned football games. We mentioned competitions. Sometimes you can catch them on television at the college bands, at the halftime performances. But really, and specifically in Cobb, we have a few events. In fact, we've got one coming up here in a few weeks called our Cobb, it's a CCSD or Cobb-Marietta Marching Band Exhibition. It's actually going to be our 51st event.
51 years.
51 years. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so we are actually one of the first districts in the country to have an event like that.
Okay.
So it's really a great event. And for us, it's a way for our students to perform for each other. And it is a performance for the community, but the unique part is the students will get to hear each other from their band programs, regardless of the school they're in. So we have half of our groups on one Monday, half of the groups on another Monday.
Huge
there's
district.
a lot. We have 16 schools plus Marietta, so 17 bands, and they get to sit in the stands and actually watch each other perform. And it's a great event because it doesn't matter what school they're at. Every school gets a standing ovation. And that's the best part, to see the appreciation of not only the students of performers from other schools, but their parents and their community really supporting that, to see the hard work they're doing.
And that was going to be my next question. Is that open to the public?
Absolutely, yes. It'll be at McEachern High School in the stadium, at Cantrell Stadium, October 7th and October 14th.
Okay.
It is open to the public. Tickets are $7 for adults and $5 for students. It's a great deal to see a lot of great bands and really to experience what the hard work, a lot of the hard work of our students every day looks like.
And with that many bands, though, I would think the stands would be pretty crowded. So understand there's going to be a live stream for free.
There's going to be a live stream via the Cobb County School District for both of those evenings. So you'll find information on the website to tune into that as well if you're not able to make it in person. But of course, we encourage you, if you can come watch it and really experience the crowd. And
there's really
nothing like being there. But certainly the live stream is available too, so that you can see the hard work that our students are doing every day.
So marching band is potentially incredibly beneficial for individuals. Do you, with your lengthy, illustrious career, I think you've told me in the past that you started out in Texas, right?
I did, yes.
So going all the way back, do you have any students that stand out in your mind that were significantly impacted by band or marching band?
Absolutely. One comes to mind. We talked about not just the musical part, but just the leadership and the belonging part as well. And I had a student in Texas that initially didn't want to participate in high school band, waited until his junior year, and came to see us and said, I would like to try this again. Would you mind? Absolutely. Come on in. Let's give it a shot. By the end of that student's senior year, not only had he become a great band member, he was also a great leader in that short amount of time.
Just 2 years time.
Just 2 years time. And so he graduated. I moved to Georgia a few years later, opened up Hillgrove High School, was the first band director there the year it opened.
Yeah.
And that second year that we were open, I received a letter in the mail, and I opened it. and it was from that student. And that student,
your student from Texas, had found you in Cobb County.
Yes.
Wow.
And sent a letter and basically explained that how thankful he was that we allowed him, but we welcomed him, to participate in band again. And all of the things that he learned, not only leadership, but really discipline, really sort of changed his trajectory in life.
Yeah.
I ended up being a very successful company owner, actually started his own company owner, and really did well, and really the benefits of his participation in marching band he attributed to that success. And
Wow.
so he also included in that letter a donation.
Well, that doesn't hurt.
And what he said was, I really would like to have this go to a student, a deserving student that that would need some help, that hopefully they can experience the same kind of benefits that I experienced.
Wow.
And maybe that'll change their life as well. Paying it forward.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that and all of the other information you've provided. Lots of families out there are wondering, is this something to direct my child or encourage my child into? So I think if you've heard any of this, you've got a clue that this is a good thing to be involved with. Again, thank you so much, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
If you have a student who enjoys music, help them know what opportunities are out there. That Marching Band Expo coming up is a great opportunity right here in October. If you can't make it to the stadium, like we said, you can watch it online free of charge. Just check out the link in the show notes or description. Be sure you give us a like if this podcast has offered you some good insights, subscribe, and pass it along to a friend or two. Thanks for listening to this edition of The Inside Scoop, a podcast produced by the Cobb County School District.